All right, let's get started. Today is February 27, 2023, and Monday. For last week, last Friday was quite important. Actually, we said a bunch of times. I was expecting the market close above this 404-ish level. Therefore, we will have a hammer doji on weekly chart instead of this kind of daily chart. However, the market opened quite below Thursday's low and it dropped directly to 3940 level. And this level also, comes from weekly basis. As you guys can see, it's right from here, 3940 level. So, which makes this kind of weekly level looks quite negative on weekly chart. So because you cannot use this kind of red energy bar because the tail, the down tail are not known enough. So we cannot see there's a lot of buyers come in, and so that's might be the reason for this weekly chart. And same thing, the 8 EMA for weeklies right here, the 21 EMA for the weeklies right here. So it's in the 8 and 21 equilibrium area. So there's nothing we can do in this kind of area until we see a clear reversal sign. However, so far, we cannot see that. And from the weekly, actually kind of, positive because this is like support level from weekly basis, even though we all know this level may be kind of sick. So, however, we can still see this kind of extension, this kind of individual draw kind of things right here. So you guys can see still, you know, kind of a little bit of extension, and then we can still see the gap in this kind of area. Therefore, I'm kind of expecting this market open and it can trade back to this kind of 8 and 21 EMA and come back maybe later. So for this Monday, Tuesday, I think it's kind of tradable because I'm looking at this kind of bar trading up directly to trading back to its 8 and 21 EMAs. So that's what I'm looking for this kind of for Monday and for Tuesday. However, on weekly basis, kind of disgusting. We're still looking for something we can holding as a reversal sign on weekly basis. So possibly the best results is the market possibly will retest this 3940 level and finding some support here, even give us an inside bar like this one, inside bar right here, even give us kind of inside bar will be a positive sign for the weekly chart. However, so far, no. So for next week, actually we still have couple things to looking around. This week includes some wild cards with the potential jolt key sectors. Tesla, will hold a high anticipated investor event, and while CVX and Goldman Sachs will also hold their annual strategy updates. And on the macro front, Fed speakers will be back on the circuit, and the an economic release includes the latest on durable goods orders, the FHFA housing price index, the S&P case, construction spending, numbers and speeches from the Fed's Rahel Bostic and Thomas Barkin. The earnings schedule is also active with all target, lows and NEO all due to report. And NEO are absolutely something interesting to looking at. However, for today, I will be looking at earnings like Lee. Let me see. And for Lee, actually, we have something interesting to looking at, and Lee will be post. Actually, they already, posted press release for Q4, and a press release Lee out, Q4 non-GAAP EPA adds of, 0.13 bits by 0.07, and a revenue of $2.56 billion are 66.2% year over year, beats by $10 million. And the vehicle sales were 2.5 billion in the fourth quarter of 2022, representing an increase of 66 from fourth quarter of 2021. And the vehicle margin was 20% in the fourth quarter of 2022 compared with 22.3% in the fourth quarter of 2021 and 12% in the third quarter of 2022. Total vehicle deliveries were 46,390 units in the fourth quarter of 2022, representing a 31.5% year-over-year increase. So this stock already, the pre-market already 4% up, which is somewhere around here. So I mean, from a daily basis, still couple zone to looking at. Let me just draw some interesting lines so you guys can see that very clearly. This is absolutely trend line support. So, which we can see this kind of already close to this level. So possibly something we might want to try. And this is trend line resistance. So look quite clear. This kind of ED is moving kind of in this range. So kind of moving along this range. So far right here. So possibly they will keep bumping out. So that's something I'm looking at. So possibly this is something we might want to try. And also we have OXY to post earnings after the market close. The EPS estimate is $1.83, and the revenue estimate is $8.21 billion. And over the last 2 years, OXY has beaten EPS estimates 75% of the time, and has beaten revenue estimates of 63% of the time. So actually, I'm not that kind of positive about this OXY, because from the chart, actually, you guys can see. Let me just use this kind of one thing. So makes this more. Yeah, that's a regression line I draw before. So far, I don't need that anymore. That's more like a trend line resistance. That was a permanently prior, trend line support. And so far, since this guy already dropped below this one, and even it's close to bowling band lowercase, so possibly the best scenario for OXY is they bumping up and kind of close to this midnight of bowling band and this 8 and 21 EMA, and keep dropping. So possibly the earnings will make this guy up a little bit. However, still resistance somewhere around $64 ish. So that's for the OXY. And as my assistant Devon already posted something on my trading view, if you guys interested in my live stream and have some question about the chart and want follow my opinion about the market, you can join my Discord channel. It's quite simple. Just click my profile and everything is quite free. Okay, so just join our channel and access the latest and the newest market updates. So that's quite a what I'm looking at for this market today. And for spikes, as I mentioned at the very beginning, this trade 940-ish was being tested and looks quite sick. JBLU. Let me go one JBLU. Yeah, blue. All right. So far looks not bad. Let's say 9 comes for JetBlue. Nevada. Let's see. JetBlue looks so, still looks positive, and this is can be viewed as a pivot lows. So possibly I will try some loans right here to see the JetBlue trip back to this 8 and 21 EMAs, NVIDIA chip stocks. Chip stocks, especially NVIDIA, watch out, okay? Nevada gave a quite, positive earnings last Thursday and makes this guy up so much. However, it's still, this much not too much for cheap stocks. So far, so big. So if you're thinking about holding this for long, if you got this one from somewhere around $141 ish, I mean, huge upside. Yes, I see huge upside. So for long term, I'm quite positive about the chip stock. That's my long term opinion. However, for short term, for mid and short, if you take some position from here, I'm absolutely suggest you can take some profit somewhere around here. So in short term, you guys can see there's literally no trace back. This one can be considered as one trace back, from October to so far, just 2 weeks trace back and pull this up. And then, I mean, out of the very beginning, I think this trace up can be a little longer, possibly back to somewhere around here, might be more healthy for the NVDA. However, the positive earnings makes the market kind of ignore this kind of thing, so make this guy go into somewhere above this 232 ish. However, this is still huge resistance level. I don't think one earning can make a stock break up a resistance level. So even with this kind of volume, so still need to with something catching up. Even it's a breakup, still need to wait with what with the market trade back, make this 8 and 21 EMA catching up, and keep going up. So that's the best scenario. So for another kind of thing to looking at the MADA, so it's possibly this guy trade back and trade to somewhere around $210 ish, and then going up. So might be another scenario. However, for the long term, I still quite positive about the chip stocks. I think I recommended Intel last week and AMD. So that's my opinion about the chip stocks. So I'm quite positive this year about the chip stock. So for whole long term way looking at the market, no matter for spikes or Qs or DIA, for Dow, I mean, I'm quite positive. I'm not that kind of a negative guy. I don't think all three indices will making all-time high this year. However, I'm thinking all these three indices will making a permables. What I mean by permables? It's more like keep going, keep validate around this way, This way, possibly meet some resistance, some back. I think the AMC. Give me 1 second. So possibly the market will validate, but still, for long term, still quite positive. However, this couldn't be, complete in 1 year. Possibly will complete maybe next year or 2025. That might be what we mean by permeable. So just consider hold this, trade back as a single one straight nine. You see, it's not just one thing. So that might be taking some time to complete this kind of goals for AMC. Give me 1 second to pull this up. AMC. I mean, AMC, in my opinion, non-offensive. It's a meme stock. I'm not quite a big fan for meme stock, so even I did some research about this AMC. However, I'm still not positive about the outcome of this kind of earnings. So I don't think this guy will making something big if you know, there's no capital involved. I cannot see this guy will, break up this kind of, downtrend so far. Trend line resistance and trend line support so far, compared with spikes, still not that kind of positive. It's just a even compared with spikes, I cannot see this is a very positive looking. So for short term, if you that's what you're interested in for short term so far, for short term still, let me just zone this in. This is daily chart for AMC. This is the inside bar. So inside bar in most traders' eyes is more like a direction signal. So if the market break up this kind of break up the day high, it's more like a confirm of upside. If inside bar breaks the day low, gonna be signal for the trade. Okay, let's find something else. KSS ZM. KSS Pulse. Coast Target Retail, right? Actually, I was actively traded KSS before, but now I prefer to trade Walmart and Target instead of KSS. I think it's quite positive so far. I mean, I will trade it until early. I don't know, you get what I'm saying. So because on daily chart, actually, I prefer to trade it alongside of the KSS. So possibly I will buy a longer call for KSS, and I will sell this call after earning come out. So that's what I'm doing. Super bearish. I'm not the kind of super bearish. I think everybody's bearish about the retail sector because last week couple retail indicators came out and everybody kind of bearish. I don't feel that way, actually. I don't feel that way. So if you want to be safe and want to be long side of this trade, so you can buy something here and use this as out and trade the price correction just to correct back to this 8 and 21 EMAs. So that might be a good trade before the earnings. And for zone ZM, right? Zone, to be very honest, I'm also bearish on Zone as well. Because for Zone, I think their strategy have some huge problems. Not because their business model, more like their strategies. I think they banning China out of their business model are kind of huge problem for this stock. So earning possibly is not that bad. I mean, not that bad. However, their strategy might be a problem. So the forecast and some issue might be the biggest problem for ZM. And so far, not quite positive as well. I mean, from weekly, you can see huge downside, huge downtrend, right? Huge downtrend. And at this level, which is market open, is quite big. But this huge downtrend never been solved. And still, every time touch this trend line resistance, give kind of an inside bar and a breakdown. So Microsoft is taking over ZM results. ZM can take on that. Yeah, I mean, if Microsoft gonna taking over ZM, that's gonna be a good news for them. I mean, Microsoft, I think they already have Office, right? So if Microsoft gonna take ZM, Zoom, and including Office 365, that can be good news for ZM. But so far, I don't feel that way. I just don't feel ZM gonna give a very good earnings. I mean, for this quarter. So for long trend, I don't like ZM as well. But I'm quite looking at some, cheap stocks like the one you mentioned, MADA, INTC, AMD. All I'm looking at. I mean, especially INTC. I know everybody kind of, hated this stock because feel like they're struggling. They are kind of, boring on this trade. I don't want this one. However, I feel like there's still something, attractive, still something quite positive. I mean, in my mind, if I'm still using computer, I'm considering Intel. I'm considering, chips about Intel. I think they are still top three. There's no reason why top one gear. I mean, F is that, four, four is that. No, thinking about Tesla. I think Ford is not that. The new Ford Mustang is sexy, right? They have E version Ford Mustang. I think they are quite sexy. I mean, from the tech side, I mean, actually, you can see another way. Let me see. It's more like a triangle, right? From the tech side, I think Rio John Smith is right about one thing. In short term, Ford is that. Because what? Because right here, as what I draw, this is more like a trend confirm. Triangle, trend confirm. Therefore, this guy will keep dropping. Dropping to where? Possibly somewhere around this $1068 ish. This kind of dashed wide line. Because that's huge support level for Ford. So far, yes, but not that. I mean, no stock is that. I mean, in my mind, if the stock are cheap enough, I would consider buying. So that's my opinion about the market. I know some company are very good, extremely good. I mean, everybody hated Tesla while this guy dropped to $100, and I bought in, and I say, hey, everybody hated this guy. Why? I don't understand. So I buy something here, and now everybody love Tesla. I hated Tesla now, so I sold them. That might be a reason. You trade contracts. You mean options? Yeah, sometimes as a hedge, I will do some hedge sometimes. but I don't sell options. I prefer to buy options instead of sell because why I don't want holding any obligations. I just want holding rights. So I more prefer to trade, options more like a hedge. It's not like a single trade. I don't want, empty long or empty long call or empty long puts. I prefer to hedge risks with options. I mean, for example, for this Tesla trade, I I long Tesla call. The reason for that is for kind of long time. I'm holding this long because I don't want to put that kind of money to buy such a lot of shares of Tesla. And I don't think this is a long-term trade. So it's more like short-term or mid-term couple weeks. Therefore, I don't want, invest my money in this kind of, $100 Tesla. Microsoft. So that's the reason why I use option to, leverage my trade, and I also trade a SPY. Microsoft, I mean, overall, I still think this is very positive. For most tech stocks, I'm quite positive. For long term, for short term, maybe a big problem need to be solved. Let's so go by this kind of daily chart. So far, as you can see, this is boarding band uppercase, downcase, 8 EMA, 21 EMA, boarding band average. So far, extended from 8 and 21. However, one thing needs to be solved by this trade. This boarding band have to be touched. Either the price coming down touch this kind of boarding band lower case, or this boarding band case moving up. So either way, still needs time to fix this kind of indicators on technicals. However, the position so far looks quite positive. I mean, before this was kind of a huge resistance level failed to break, kind of dropping down. We can find in some support somewhere around 246. If this price correction or time correction complete this 8 and 21 EMA, then I'm expecting this Microsoft will going up. So for long term, absolutely, I mean, positive on this Microsoft. Let me see. Short-term review. No, Microsoft is for long term. I mean, short term still, positive, but still, couple indicators needs to be fixed, like this boarding band lowercase and this extension. Unemployment rate at 3.5, 3.4%. If we take a look back, we will see that the unemployment rate raised after the US climb. There's a recession, and after that, immediately the market bottoms. So if the history is repeating itself, then we didn't bottom yet. What do you think, guys, of that? High risk assets. What do you mean by high risk assets? Which one? Stock market? I mean, how about let's think about another way about this kind of a recession talking. So in my mind, actually, I talk quite a lot about this kind of recession talks. In my mind, or in my personal opinion, I feel like the market already priced in all negative factors into this market. So Fed, so far, I don't think the Fed have a lot of things to do so far. The target rates, the target final interest rate is 5.5%, right? 5.25 to 5.5%. And the only thing they can do is making this interest rate for longer time or longer time frame. But how much they can, does that mean they can keep increase the interest rate? Have you guys think about that? Can they do that? Can they increase the interest rate to 10%, to 20%? I don't feel that way. So the only thing they can do is they use a market to kind of, solve the inflation problems instead of like using this kind of, interest rate tools to solve this problem. Unemployment rate, yes, so far 3.4. It's not huge. I mean, it's not recession so far. This is kind of strange. If it's recession, the unemployment rate will higher than this, right? So I think the market already not bottom. I mean, but so far, like what I said before, I consider this is permabulls. So it's more like, this way, short term bottom, and this way, you know. But the new highs, not this year, possibly 2025, you know. Maybe go this way and go that way, right? Not this year, possibly 2 years later, or all time new high. So that's my opinion about this thing, right? But thanks for your questions. I hope to get to know you more if you give me more details. All right. Looks we have enough to talk about today. And if you guys are interested in my stream, interested in my analysis, you can always go to my personal Discord channel to to unlock more about my market opinion, market breakfast, and some trading ideas. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good trading day and good luck on trade. Bye bye.